Working with my therapist and psychiatrist, I discovered a lot about myself. And one of the things I discovered is that I'm a workaholic. I, although I'm self employed, I will work 24 hours in a day if possible. For the longest, I saw my clients 7 days a week whenever they had availability. I didn't even schedule lunch. I would eat whenever I could if I did eat. I always feel as though I need to work because being self-employed, you, especially for myself, where I have mostly a consulting business, if I don't work, I don't get paid. And so even if I have a really good month, I know that the following month could be totally different. And I'm reliant on the economy as well because when the economy's doing good, business owners want business consulting. They want to work with a consultant so that they can keep their business going. But when the economy is not doing as well, business owners feel as though they have to keep all of their funds uh, close to themselves. They have to hold it tight because they don't know when they'll need that money. And so working with a business consultant is kind of far down on the list. So it makes me constantly want to work. That that kind of worked against me when it came to the anxiety and the depression. It made it worse. The depression was I never had any free time. I never had time for myself. And the biggest eye-opening thing for me was when my psychiatrist asked me what I like to do for fun. And I couldn't answer the question because I can't tell you the last time that I did something fun. Because outside of work and being home, that's all I ever did. And I do love to travel, but that's not something you can do, regularly. You may schedule a few trips a year, but throughout the week, I wasn't doing anything. And I couldn't define what was fun to myself. And so my therapist and my psychiatrist both suggested that I have to work on finding happiness and finding what brings me happiness. It's great to be self motivated, it's great to be that go getter, but at the same time, you have to know how to relax. You have to know how to reward yourself. Again, being self employed, there were times when I hit rock bottom with the business. There were times where I didn't go to a grocery store for 6 months and I was eating out of my freezer. I would just cut the freezer burn part of the chicken off and still cook and eat it. And anything that required milk, eggs, cheese, bread, I just didn't eat. So I knew how to get through that struggle. And of course, I didn't want to experience it again. So working 24/7 for me was the answer. But of course, now I'm learning that it's not the answer. My therapist and psychiatrist are also working with me to discover coping mechanisms. I want to get to a point where the depression is completely gone. I want to get to a place where the anxiety is manageable because I know it will never fully go away because a little bit of anxiety is needed for all of us. But to where it's not ruling my life. It's not uh, I'm able to cope. I'm able to do things and I don't need medication. So learning how not to be such a workaholic is something I'm working on. The workaholic, I feel, was kind of born and bred in me. Growing up, I was placed in gifted in preschool. And typically, you're not tested for gifted until second grade, but my teachers recognized that I was gifted. I had a high IQ in preschool, and I was placed and gifted at the time. I wasn't able to interact with my first grade class because I knew the answers. My teacher gave me our reading book for the year, and I went home and read the entire book, and so I couldn't participate. I always had to be the one to kind of go sit by the teacher while we did our lessons. And I know they thought it was possibly something special, but of course, to me, it wasn't. I wanted to participate and be there with the other students. But being in gifted and being in those accelerated classes, we always had work over the summer. We had to read 3 books over the summer and write 3 papers that we would send to our new teachers. And so I don't know a life of not working. I don't know a life of not pushing myself. In college, when I pledged AKA, my name is Accolade. And I was given the name Accolade from accolades, because any accolade that was available at the University of South Carolina, I got. Even ones I didn't even know about. I would just get a call over the summer that says, hey, you got this because you made the chancellor's list again. And I believe the chancellor's list is above the president's list. I think the chancellor's list is a 4.0. And so I was always being recognized. I was always pushing myself. And my therapist and psychiatrist helped me to identify that for myself, I always sought perfection. It's okay for others to not be perfect, but for me, I need it to be perfect. I need for things to go exactly how I envision them. And that moves the mark, because I can't just do it. I have to do it with perfection. And it gets tiring. It gets tiring, and it adds to the feeling of just being tired, overwhelmed, overworked, being a workaholic. And so I'm learning now as well how to cope with that, and how to make time for myself, how to go on vacations, how to find happiness, how to find fun again. And I'm thankful for my therapist and psychiatrist for being able to notice that and to help push me into a much more healthier lifestyle.